Hi golfers, Nick here from Nick Taylor Golf. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a stack and tilt online golf lesson as opposed to where he was before. So now you can see the difference in his right foot position there. You can kind of see underneath his shoe there, whereas on the original one you couldn't do that, so he wasn't really moving his weight through like the best players do. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys what to expect in an online stack and tilt golf lesson. Then we're going to discuss whether online golf lessons work. Plus, I'm going to share with you guys one of the most common issues I see that golfers make when they try and adapt to the stack and tilt golf swing. As I always say to you guys out there, the best thing to do if you want to learn the stack and tilt system, the best thing to do is to see a stack and tilt instructor. If you're not able to visit a stack and tilt instructor in your area, the second best thing you can do is have online stack and tilt golf lessons. So in my experience, I think the online golf lessons are really helping you golfers out there. First of all, you get a personalized plan on what to do. You get the communication with your coach, and you've got the videos there to refer back to at any time. But it is important to note, golfers, it's down to you to improve and to practice. I can't make you practice, but I can tell you what to do. And the best thing about it is I'm going to tell you how to utilize your time. So I know a lot of you golfers out there don't have a lot of time, but I'll tell you the key things that you need to focus on to improve your golf. Let's take a look at one of the most common issues that I see golfers make when they're trying to learn the stack and tilt golf swing. So if you take a look at the screen here, we've got the golfer on the left who had the online lesson, and myself, just to show you guys what we worked on and what we changed to help him improve. So the golfer on the left here was struggling with low point control. He tended to hit the ball thin and struggled to take a divot. So as you can see here, we have the line on the shaft and the line through the top of the elbow. This is kind of like our cone for our swing plane. If you take a look at this golfer, in the takeaway, as we get to position 2, you can see the numbers at the bottom here. These are just representing different positions of the swing. This is the way we measure the golf swing, 9 different positions. So position 2, when the shaft's parallel, you can see on my club and my hands have basically tracked that line, whereas the golf on the left here has moved the club way inside. You just watch my club and hands pretty much track that line, and that's kind of what we're looking for. My left shoulder moves downwards. That tilts my shoulders, gives the ascent to the hands, helps me trace that angle. So a lot of golfers that do struggle with a low point, taking a divot, especially in getting that low point in front of the ball, it's because their swing direction is going too much around their body. Now I did talk about this a little bit in my previous video, learning the stack and tilt golf swing, and it's one of the most common issues I see, that golfers, they swing too much on the inside when they're first learning the stack and tilt golf swing. That's because when you have your weight forward, move your shoulder down and bring your hands inwards, it's very easy to start swinging more on the inside than it was before. So that can happen quite easily. So we have to try and manage this position. Let's take a look at the swing as it comes down into the downswing, which is what the key thing is here. So the golfer at the top there, as he comes down, you can see the club's way underneath this line where it started. His club path's working quite a long way from the inside, and he had to make other compensations to help straighten out that path with his hands and wrists, which we will discuss in the future. But as you come down with my swing, you can see my club and my hands, the shaft plane pretty much tracks in between those two lines, whereas the golfer was going underneath, so his swing direction was going too much to the right as he went through. So the first thing we worked on was trying to manage this takeaway and to help him into the downswing. So one of my favourite training aids is the Tour Striker plane station. You may have seen this before, I've talked about it in a lot of videos. On the bottom picture of my screen you see this plane station here, it's got the different angles. There's an alignment stick here which is angled at 55 degrees, kind of roughly on the angle of the shaft at address. The idea for this is to train your swing path. I've seen Justin Rose use this a lot, and it's a really good way to help with that takeaway if your club gets too much on the inside. So you want to line up pretty close to in line with the stick, and then practice moving the shoulder down and then just running the club up the alignment stick like I'm doing in the video here. It's a really good way to just train that takeaway. Then after a little bit of practice, you set up and leave a slight gap, as you can see here, and then hit a shot without hitting the stick. So it's a good way to practice just making some swings without hitting the stick. So it just gives you the feel, and then you give some immediate feedback when you're practicing. For this golfer's online lesson, I explained this, showed him the swing direction, how that affects the low point of the swing, and just explained to him to try and get something angled to help him with his swing path. So you can see he's kind of designed a training aid here. If you can see on the right hand picture, he's got this bit of foam and then with an old shaft by the looks of it sticking out. And this is really just helping him train that swing path. So now we take a look at the swing now. So the original swing, we saw that go quite far on the inside. Now if we take a look at its takeaway, you can see very different. And then just look at the difference on the way down. He kind of finds a slot here as he comes down whereas before he was way underneath. If anything, start to come a little bit out to in, which we didn't want either. So the next thing that we did, we had our video call and I showed him his swing on the video and then started to introduce something else for him to work on and go and practice. So this is kind of like his second golf lesson, if you like. We have the latest swing on the right, so he's done some practice with the swing plane, and then we started to, as I said, introduce something else. So just have a look at the difference now. So really good into the ball here, and now he's not tipping outside like he was originally. So the next thing we started to work on was his follow through here. Have a look at his foot position here. So in the original swing he was going very much onto his toe and focusing a lot on rotation. Now we started to work on pushing his weight through, and we're trying to get his foot to bank inwards, as you can see on the video, as opposed to where he was before. So now you can see the difference in his right foot position there. You can kind of see underneath his shoe there, whereas in the original one you couldn't do that, so he wasn't really moving his weight through like the best players do. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. If you golfers out there had online coaching before, I certainly think it's beneficial. You almost get two lessons in one. You get a recording of your swing to look back on. You get a personalised chat with your coach at a convenient time for both of you. I think it's a win-win situation. So golfers, thanks for watching the video. If you want to find out a little bit more about second tilt, make sure you check out this playlist, and we'll see you again next week for another video.